Thank you so much for hosting the stream, Steve. I appreciate that. And good morning to you. Good evening, good night, and even Christina. And good afternoon and good evening to Brian and Ralph. Good night, Ralph. Shall I say good night, good evening, good very, very good late evening. I'm so glad you could all make it. This is exciting. I'm always excited when we do things together. And I was thinking of playing Halo again today, and then I had second thoughts because earlier today I watched Nate's stream, Drago Nate, on YouTube, and we do this every so often. Sometimes he pops into mine, sometimes I pop into his, and he was playing Doom, and the game was on sale for about another hour, Doom, the 2016 version, and I thought, oh, great, I'll buy that. And he's a Humble partner, so he's with the Humble Bundle people. And so I could support him through that, which was great. And I never looked into Humble, but they do these unbelievable bundles every so often. And I thought, oh, this is great. So I kind of not only did I buy that game, I kind of got lost a little bit on that site. And it's one of those things that you can pay whatever you like. So sometimes they have the video editor Sony Vega on sale there for like a fraction of what the retail thing costs. And you can do it in a way that you can also support not only charities and Humble and the developer, but also the people who send you there, like Drago Nate, for example. So I did that and I thought, oh, this is interesting. I found something that I wanted to share with you and try out today, which is the Polygon development bundle. Let me see if I can bring up that link here. This is what all the bits and bobs are that I can link to. I believe if I go and can I just go click on that? Yeah, there we go. So these people, this is what the whole bundle looks like. It's available for another day and 20 hours, so almost 2 days. And they give you these things for like $1. You get an adventure pack and a prototype pack and a simple town pack. And these are made for Unity and Unreal. So they work with those things, that they give you a Unity and Unreal scene, but they also give you all the OBJs and FBX files. And then you pay, I don't know, $70.39 on more, and you get all these things included as well. And you pay over $25 and you get all these things included. And that is just so interesting. They're like a very low poly Minecraft type things. Let's have a look at one that I wanted to have a look at. So I bought these and I thought, hey, how difficult is it going to be to bring these things into Blender and have a look? I mean, I thought there are a lot of free assets around already for Unreal, and I do want to get started with Unreal eventually later this year or at some point in the future. It's just time just melts away like the snow in the sun, doesn't it? So I thought maybe I'll have a look at these. So they come with a little YouTube video. I'm going to mute this. We'll just have a look at the visual so that you get an impression of, what these assets look like for the very little amount of money that you pay. And I thought, wouldn't that be cool if we could get this going in Blender and then do some camera pans through this type of neighborhood. So it's a little bit like the stonemason scenes, the urban sprawls, but much more low poly. But look at the stuff that's going on in there. So I find this absolutely exciting. And I thought, this is good because it doesn't take the resources, because they're game assets, they don't take the resources that high-res assets would take. I don't know if animations are included with this, but I thought I'll give this a go. So yeah, that'll be interesting how this looks like, what this looks like in Blender. I had a very quick look and I'll show you what I've been able to make, but essentially that's what we'll be doing today. Yeah, so Synty is the developer there. This is what they're making. This is what they're doing. And let me go and drop a link into the description of these assets. Does that do it? Yeah, perfect. So this is a direct link to this whole asset pack. If you want to have a look at it, have a look. I'll put a link to this asset in the description as well. And we'll see what we can do with that. Be interesting. Yeah, watch your wallet. Watch your wallet. I don't know how good these things are. The total disclaimer, I have only just loaded one of these things. It's not easy for me to get my head around it. But as soon as the real-time rendering thing kicks in here, we can have a look at an Eevee preview that Blender renders. And I believe with if I remember how to do it, we can also walk through this whole set, so we get an accurate preview of it. And earlier, he says, this looked other than that. Full disclosure. Oh yes, my own splash screen. Yes, absolutely. I followed your instructions there, Christina, and I totally made it happen. And now I've got this thing up here in the top right corner, it's top left corner. If I go new 3D Shenanigans, then it comes up with that. So yes, absolutely, that is my own splash screen. Haha! I thought that's exciting. So thank you so much for showing me that. If you're interested in making your own splash screen in Blender, check out Christina's channel because she shows you how to do that. So I'll give you a quick shout out there. Very exciting. But this scene here is of course not exactly what I had seen earlier. So I don't really know why this doesn't look as exciting as it did a moment ago. Maybe we'll just have to start from scratch and we'll see where that gets us. So all this was textured, and while probably not textured perfectly, it looked other than just white. So there we go. Oh, Inkscape. Yes, I've heard of Inkscape as well. That sounds interesting indeed. That is something that's vector stuff, isn't it? Is that what it is? I'm going to go and start with a new 3D Shenanigans scene that gets us this. Default cube, not exactly what we want. Yeah, I'll start from. Let me try again. Let me try again. I thought I was in look def. I thought it was actually in proper real-time rendered preview shader. I thought this is look def. Is this look def? Viewport shading. This is something else. Oh, there we go. That doesn't look so bad. There we go. Nice one. And then I've got this as well. That's the actual rendered version. So I don't know what Blender had there, but yeah, that's what my scene looks like right now. And so everything is there. Maybe go make the strength of the HDR. I put one HDRI in. I don't know if the strength is great or whatnot. But so the thing is, these are all little individual objects. I'll show you in a moment how they come, and we can just go and navigate around them like we can on other scenes, like hot pizza. You can just zoom in on that sign and just see what we want to do with that. There are no people in this right now, but I like the outside of the town that they've made there. But the cool thing about Blender is, and I googled this earlier, came up with my own article. Sadly no longer relevant because this principle has changed in Blender 2.8 and above. You can go, if I remember this correctly, go to View, and then you can go and head to Navigation, and you can go into Fly or Walk animation. And when you do that, so they're both equally intriguing. Let me try Fly animation. And this now means when you move the mouse, you're like in a first-person computer game. So I can look around with the mouse and I can move my whatever hovering vehicle I have with WASD, and this is what it looks like. I can also make that faster if I wanted to kind of fly through the scene a bit faster. And look at the frame rate. I mean, I'm getting a solid 60 frames a second. That is kind of funky, isn't it? And you can literally just go and see how you want your own animation to look like. I mean, it takes a little bit of practice to fly around this, but boy, is this exciting or what? I mean, I was thinking that is just so cool. And this whole scene does remind me a little bit of urban sprawl in a way. Maybe I'll fly a little bit slower here. So faster and slower is on the numpad, the plus and minus signs. And so my idea was to put some either camera keyframes together or see if I can make Blender's cameras work on a path. So I can also have something akin to a motion path, if I remember correctly. And especially if we were to populate this with people. So I don't know how easy any of this is, but that would make a really nice little holding screen, either for J Plays maybe, or for 3D Shenanigans, or for Live from Rod's Lair. I have actually watched your video on YouTube there, Rod, by the way. I did do that. I didn't comment on YouTube, yeah, but I do agree with you that camera needs replacing for sure. Materials are probably set up for Unity and Unreal. So they're not spectacular. I don't see any reflections. Let me go with escape, we get out of this. And let me try the other navigation thing, which is navigation walk animation. And that, usually there's some, if there's gravity involved, you can literally go and walk on the ground. I haven't done that, but it means I can now literally just go and walk around as if this was a third person or first person shooter game. That's kind of nice. It's less soft, but it aids navigation. So much like in DAS Studio, we can do that, and you know. You, Christina and Rod, currently have the same color on Discord. On Twitch, it's difficult for me to see who's speaking, but I can see by the moderator symbol that this is Christina and that's Rod. Okay, cool. And you know, that's absolutely right, Rod. It is like not getting arrested. And I've got all these asset packs to play with, and I thought maybe we can get something meaningful done in it. And I'll show you how we can get going, because this is not what it looks like when I start the scene. I've got it saved, so that's cool. Let's go and start with a brand new scene and see if we can make that look even cooler. Yes, you're blue, and let me see if can I make you unblue? There is a way to, there's the chat command even where you can make people colorize them in. Was it slash color? There we go. Change your username color, i.e. Okay, cool. So if I can't do it for you, you'd have to do it. Christina, if you want to make yourself green, that would help. Unless Brian's green. Is Brian green? Steve is pink, that's good. Brian is, where are you, Brian? I'm purple. Brian is purple, but a different color purple. Christina, make yourself green. There we go. Chris is like kind of green. Hello, Chris. Good to see you. Welcome to the Google Calendar, by the way. Very exciting. Yeah, so if you type, Christina, if you type /color, the American way, and then followed by green, that'll do the trick. Nice to see you, Chris. I'm going to go and bring in, I might also delete the light here because that does get, I'm going to leave the light in place. So I'm going to go and bring in that low poly city that we just saw. We can, by all means, we can try out other things. That's just the first thing that I've downloaded. It comes as FBX, and I just left it in my downloads folder. It comes with two folders. By the way, there's two downloads that you can get. One is the source files, and one is just called Windows. And in Windows, there's all the Unity and Unreal stuff in there, which Blender currently filters out. So we need the source files, and they come as FBX and OBJ as well as textures. And so characters are in there as well. I didn't look at the characters yet, but look, they're all like, you know, female and male police officers and all that. So maybe we can see what that's all about. There's one scene file here, an FBX file that has a whole city in there, and that's the one I've loaded. So I'm going to go and import that. Do you know, yeah, Rod, you might be golden on your end, but of course you're not golden on my end. I don't know why this is so difficult with Twitch. On Mixer, I believe we all had a random color, but it was all kind of, I'm the same color on my computer that I'm on yours. And with Twitch, it's not quite like that. I don't understand. So this is all now part of the scene here. It's huge. So there's so many of these things in there. I might just go and move them into their own collection so that I can at least, you know, there's like hundreds of them. I might go do that. I might just go and move them all into one new collection. if I, do I know how to do that? Is it just Shift M? Yeah, Shift M to new collection, and I'll call that Polygon City. That didn't work. Blender. I always like that. You do something and then it doesn't actually do what you quite clearly intended to do. That is... Oh no, why? I did say new collection. It's too many objects for me to just leave them float around here. Still not the end of the list. Let me just filter this. Did this actually happen here? Polygon City, yeah, there it is. But the objects aren't actually in there. Why, Blender, why? That's just not necessary, is it? Oh, they are, but they're also still in here. Why? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Dreamlab, hello! Good to see you. I'm already so confused. I'm going to start from the very beginning here because this is just not something... There's only so much I can comprehend. 3D is already on the outer limits of that. This time I'm going to go and make a new collection right away. And then I'm going to park my cursor in there. Maybe Blender's kind enough to move it in there. So M, no, not M, actually. It's how do I even make a new collection? New, there we go. Right click and new collection. So the city, I'll call that. Go in here. In fact, let's put that to here. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. Maybe, just maybe, if I go and import the FBX now, thanks for remembering the path there. It's very handy, Blender. Get that nervous twitch again. I like that emote, Chris. That is exactly what I feel like. It's exactly how it feels like. And it's in the city, so that's actually really cool. Look at that. I love that already. So my regular collection with all my tech stuff in it is now independent of all that. Don't know how we're going to deal with it if ever we had to move 150,000 items into another collection. That'd be not so good. So this is what my city looks like. All these dots, they are all the objects that are selected. And the tragic thing is, let me just switch off the overlays here so that we can just see what the scene is actually, how the scene is built. So we have several outer layers here. I like that. So those are just showing the background with several 2D low-res kind of layers of houses and outskirt thingies on there. And watch what happens. This is just the regular 3D preview. Watch what happens if I switch this over to the look dev preview, which lets us see the materials or the final render. I mean, they don't, final render is now dark because we don't have a light. So I'm going to go into the look dev preview. Everything's purple and pink. And while the objects are all there, some of the scenes, some of the textures have come across, most of them have not. And that's usually Blender's way of saying, hey, I don't know where the texture file is. There's something defined here, but I can't find it. It's just the path that isn't something I can see, which is a shame. So I believe the developers accidentally referenced the Photoshop file, which is not included, or not at the point at which I can find it. So then you look at all these objects and you think, Jesus, that's like, I have to set up the material like 40 billion times. That's gonna 2025 by the time I'm done with that. But the good thing is most of these objects take the same material. So once we've just repointed the texture once or twice, most of the scene is going to look okay. So let's try this out, I believe. Oh, emote only. That's a cool idea, Christina. We should try that. And indeed, yeah, so pizza is like the most important thing. There's another one here. What's this one? Yeah, the car advert for Polygon, new for 2017. I like it. Let's see. Let's just click any of these. In fact, I'll click the first one in the scene and have a look what that's like. So this is that building here. Let's go. It's so funny. Let's go and head over to our shading room, which is also enabled for that. That's all good. There's the building in question, and this is what that shader looks like that Blender has just made of that. So I'm not sure how well shaders are defined in FBX. I don't know much about FBX, only that usually when I try to work with it, things don't go great. It's good for animations sometimes. So there's two textures defined here. Env sampler text.001 goes in the base color. And there's also a normal map that goes just via a normal channel into the normal map. But I believe they use the same texture. Let's pick this one here. And thankfully, at the bottom, I can still see the name of the texture that the FBX file is specifying. It's just that the path is wrong. So it's a PSD file, and it's called Polygon City _texture. So that's cool. You are now red for me. Thank you, Christina. Yes, this is great. I like that. I like that. Yeah, now I can all tell you apart. That's good. Chris and Rod and Dreamlab and Brian, I can tell you all apart now. That's good. So all we need to do is look for Polygon City _texture, and probably not a PSD file, probably something else. Let's go into downloads, into the source files, into textures. And I really like that Blender still tells me this even if I'm navigating further down. So we have Polygon texture normal, and we have Polygon City texture. So I'm going to go and use that, open image, and then lo and behold, most of my objects are already looking handsome, nice, and dandy all at the same time. So that's very cool. That was such a relief when I found that out. That is really, really good. Because that's the most daunting thing. You import a scene that you want to use and you think, ooh, okay, there's just nothing. So this is good. Let's use the normal texture as well, or the normal map as well while we're here. Under here, this is specifying Polygon City texture normal Unreal. It is a game asset after all, so I'll go and Polygon City texture normal. Let's just hope it's this one, shall we? See what that adds to the mix. I'm so glad it did that, Dreamlab. It's just, had it not done that, that would have been seriously bad. So let's go and see if we can identify anything else that isn't looking great. So like the outskirts, I think they are meant to be just these cutouts here. There might also be the water here. Let me go put my overlays back on so I know what's selected. Yeah, so water is currently, that might not be anything. It's water, outskirts. I think they're meant to be that way, so I think there may not be that much going on here. But let's take care of these first, just to see what's on them. Whoops. What did I do? So this has, I don't know if there's an easier way to do this, but here we have two. We've got a tangent space in the normal, and we have an alpha, and we have a regular color map. Okay, let's see what happens here. So this is Polygon City texture skyline.tga. Oh, this might actually be the right one. Skyline TGA is defined, so he has found that. That's good. So yeah, it may well be the correct version here. And then in here we also have TGA time. Yeah, okay, perfect. So it looks like that's correct. These look like they're using the same material, so that's also nice. How about the water? Water literally just uses a normal and nothing else. So we could potentially replace that with our own water. So they have put a tangent space on the normal, so I guess that's supposed to give it ripples, maybe. But we've got nothing in the base color channel, which is why the water looks black. Let me make that, I don't know, something like a light blue maybe. If it helps. Does it help? It might not. So the water, we might worry about the water later. Currently, if I set this to my, maybe I'll go save this thing before, you know, I ruin it. So I'll call it Polygon City 1. There's Polygon City Test is in that folder already. It's in my Creative Clouds folder. And let me go and switch this over to the rendered view. I think we're currently using Eevee. That's exciting, but it's just very dark. So I deleted the regular light in the scene. No, actually I haven't. I haven't. Let's go and bring that up and just turn it for preview purposes into a quick sunlight. Sunlight never really works great in Blender, but it does work somehow, so it gives us some light. We could use a really strong point light or an area light, but I think I'd rather use a HDRI in here and not use that sunlight at all. So even with an area light, I'd really have to make this very large and very strong for it to emulate something. We can try it. Like, would probably be like 100 by 100 meters. It is a city after all, isn't it? It is, isn't it, Chris? Yeah, I think so too. Hello. There we go. And then we could kind of fudge that, but let me just go and delete it. We'll use a HDRI instead. And I'll do that the difficult way, because that's really the only way I can do it, by going into the world property in the shading tab. And then I'll go and add, I believe, an environment texture that gets hooked up into the color channel. And that's now also pink because Blender hasn't got one yet that it's trying to project. So I'll go and, I believe I've only got one HDRI. I'm really in need of some good HDRIs in a central place on my system that I can remember. I'm always struggling to go just grab a HDRI, and I need them so often, and they're just not in a central place. It's pathetic, really. But that's how disorganized I am. It is Monday in every way. I totally agree. Yes, I totally agree. There. So that's kind of okay. It's just not quite strong enough. So I'll go and make that a bit you know, more strong there. And that means now when we go and we're kind of on the ground floor here somewhere, we can, well, on, not below. We can now, should we look up in the sky, we get to see, oh man, we get to see a sky even. Man, there we go. That's cool. If it were a better HDRI, it would be even better, but hey, I don't have one. So if one of you has a link to a good HDRI, let me have it. I can go grab it, and we can use that to play around. So that's kind of the basic setup here of my scene. And now I can go and work out what I'd like to do with it. So it's not a huge scene, but it's large enough to build some interesting animations with, I'm thinking. And so if I look at the outside here, we could probably start here and then kind of make our way somehow through here. So it's like a bit of a puzzle, isn't it? So make sure you don't reveal too much of the background. It's okay if it's there, but you can just go and walk through here, maybe that way, maybe this way, go around here, look at those buildings, and then, you know, just make it into, turn it into like a 1 minute or 30-second, 1 minute animation, maybe even longer, nice and slow, and then just go render this out with Eevee because, you know, hey, that'd be good. Nice one, Christina. I'll have a look at that. You know, that's probably a really good idea. I think I'll do that as well. I'll just put that, just put it right, and let's do this now. I like it. Let's do it, and maybe I'll use it as a chat command. Just go !Hdri, and that just goes to the popular categories. That's a great idea. Let's go grab that link here. I've been able to make my PC and Mac connection, I make that work again. And this is my calendar here. This is great. I'm going to go and new bookmark, and I'll say, no, not locations. How do you put a bookmark together? I don't know that. New bookmark. You'd think it's in bookmarks. This is all just bookmarks I've made over the last 20 years. I really need to do something with them, like delete them. No, new bookmark. No, because how do I bookmark this URL? Star, this one here. Nice. And I'll just put that on the bookmarks toolbar. And I'll just say Hdri Haven. Boom! Haha, I like it. Those are indoor things. Is that good? Nature, urban. How about urban? Let's add some urbanicity to the whole thing. Is that a word? This is nice and urban. This is kind of the look and feel of the city that we have, isn't it? Kind of flat lighting. Oh, this, that's nice. At sunset, Venice by sunset. Oh, can you? So like literally like this. Ah, thank you so much. Browsing 101. It's funny, isn't it? For something that we do so often, it's just, there's so many little tips and tricks that many of us just don't know. We just get by, evolve in a different way. Does any of these jump out at you? Some clouds here, this is nice as well. They're all kind of nice, even this one here. More parking lots somewhere in Russia, this is nice. Are they both Venice sunset? The sky is on fire. Nice. And maybe we'll use this. Maybe this. What do you think? I'll use this. Yes. Maybe I'll just use that one here. 2K version. It'd be fine. It'd be fine. It's good stuff. Let's save that. And is that a zip or is that ready to rock and roll? The sky's on fire. No, it is ready to rock and roll. Great, let's do it. Let's use that. The sky is on fire. Boom. Aha. Nice. Well, that puts us into a building. Let's start at this corner here, just so that we've got a starting space here. Yeah, so on some of these buildings that we may need to have another look at the material here. So that just looks black. I'm not sure if that's correct. Let's have a look at what that material would be. like those shop windows here. Oh, it has nothing. It's just got the normal map. Which is the Polygon City texture normal Unreal. What we can, the least thing we can do is replace that with the correct version. Texture normal. Let's use this. There we go. That's made it hasn't made a difference. But then that was just the normal map. I wonder if we just put the same map into the base color. See, that makes a difference. At least the windows aren't black anymore. I keep getting black. What's going down? I don't know. Well, maybe we'll just have to live with black windows. I'll go and do a little test walk here and see if I can find a way through this. Because I'm really liking this idea of just walking through the scene and just having maybe I'll fly through the scene. Let's go and fly. A nice and easy, smooth pace here. Yeah, maybe we'll go through here. This is all buildings we could reveal with all the cloth hanging there. Oh, looks like I've bumped into something. That was the inside of the parking meter. Nice one. Oops, oh my god, I just knocked my mouse away and then that... We need these sick bags. I could ride my bike through it, yeah, that's a good idea. I also need a compass now. Like, am I going the right way? I'm hoping I am. It comes with a few cars as well. So I suppose cars are the easiest to animate because we don't have to worry about walk cycles and all that. They just move at a fairly constant speed, and we can just have them just pass by. So I like to see what this looks like on the real render. So it doesn't really matter where we look at. I just want to get an impression what the final render is going to look like. Man. Oh, we're not even on the camera yet, are we? There we go. Let me go set up that camera. There's some clipping issues going on here as well. Man, why am I constantly in the building? Dude, seriously. This is a nice street corner. We can probably use that. Yes, why am I... Let's have a look at my camera here and just make that wider, like really wide. Instead of 50, let's go and let's try 28. Hello, Marcos. How you doing? Good to see you, my friend. So my camera has, that's the view, isn't it? My God, that's the view. We need the camera, actually. This camera needs to be there. That's 28. That's what we like. Yeah, just to get an impression what this scene would look like. Clip end, yeah, we want to probably make that there, much more in the distance. Yeah, we can have a look at this both in Eevee and in cycles. That might be an idea. Yes, that's a good idea, Brian. Let's try that out. Just these concentric circles here. So we are in Eevee, aren't we? Yeah. And I don't know much about baking light in Eevee, because I think that's kind of key to making this look exciting. I've watched a video there a few months ago, I believe thanks to Marcos's suggestion, and it worked extremely well. Sadly, I've forgotten how it works now. It made all perfect sense. But since it renders so super fast in Eevee, I wonder what it looks like in Cycles. Ooh. Ooh. That looks even better. Oh, this is, sorry, CPU. If that happens, the stream kind of gets confused and gets hicked up. Let's just do this once again with GPU, and let's have a look at, this is now 128 samples. This is probably going to render well with even less samples. All right, Chris, thank you so much for stopping by. Let us know when you're streaming next. And also, I can totally give you a shout out thanks to my amazing command. You can catch Chris's stream. The L is silent, by the way. Well, every so often you have a schedule that hasn't quite burned itself into my mind there. But if you join Chris's Discord server, he will make announcements a few hours ahead of time. And also, you know, to keep us all abreast of what's happening with all the streaming efforts that we're all making together. If you like what we're all as a community are doing, I've set up a Google Calendar, and that I'm going to put that into the chat now. That's a link to a public facing Google Calendar into which we're trying to put all our streaming kind of slots in there, so you can, if you want to watch us, you can always set your own reminders there. It's only writable by a few of us, but it's visible by everyone. So there we go. That's our Google Calendar. I will call that the 3D Shenanigans calendar. And I've just added Chris to the list, so he'll go and hopefully put his stream slots in there as well. That way we don't stream at the same time, and we can all, you know, keep a lookout of what we're all doing. I must say this is highly inspiring. So I see things that Steve or Chris are doing on their streams, and I'm thinking, hey, I'd like to try that out. So yeah, nice. And likewise, so Chris sees something that I'm doing, and then he tries it out. It's good. It's good. So come on, Blender, what is taking you so long? You've just shown us you can do it more or less in real time with the CPU, but now I'm switching you to GPU. It takes like 4 hours. That's crazy. Take a few minutes the first time. Ooh, Christina, that sounds exciting. I was thinking when you said last time you may have an issue streaming due to bandwidth, I was thinking there's, I mean, you know, I do keep thinking outside the box all the time. I was thinking, what if you were to stream via my computer? So I can give you a remote connection access to my computer. That's something that a low bandwidth connection might be able to handle. And I can take your voice via Discord and put you on air with the picture of my computer and, you know, onto your channel. That might be a cool idea in case you get any bandwidth issues. So just something I thought I'd throw into the mix. But if you can stream from your computer, that'd be even cooler. That'd be really, really exciting to see how you work. Finally, we get a preview here. Very exciting. Look at that. So yeah, I suppose this being all very low poly, I think I can get away with much less than 128 samples. Let's try something. This looks nice. So this as an animation in 60 frames a second, I'm looking forward to that already, with or without any people. That is looking very cool. And you know, if you've been keeping an eye on some of the indie games that are coming out now, this is the look that we're getting in video games now, more and more. This very low poly, just like almost like a retro / modern look. 15, that sounds exciting, Christina. That'll be good. 15, that's good. So you can, yeah, that's great. I'm not streaming higher than 5 at the moment either, because my internet connection every once in a while just keeps being a bit wonky. Let's try 32. See how quickly that renders. And this is undenoised. There we go. My old K4000 render node might be really happy with this because it's all really low poly. So that's nice. Let's do something drastic like 16, but then try out the denoiser. So this is Blender's internal denoiser now. I can never remember which thing this is on. I think there we go. It's on the whatever, the 3 little pictures thing. So 16, let's try that. So it renders even faster, and it's denoising it the same way that Grant Wilkes' denoiser was denoising images, I believe, using the optics binaries. Yeah, you can see some of the artifacts here. Grant's denoiser let the picture render noised, and then it took a moment, and then it denoised the whole picture. And the Blender way of doing it is using it while it's rendering. So some tiles look noisy, and then others are denoised kind of in a second pass, I believe, on a background thread. It's a very clever way of coding there. Let's try 32, just for a laugh. It did, didn't it? And 32, so the render time then per 1920 by 1080 image is under 20 seconds with that. That's very nice. Nicely done, nicely done. So I see tiny artifacts in the windows here, but we're saying 20 seconds per frame, and it's that large, so it's easy to make that smaller, like a 1280 by 720. See what this looks like and how long it takes now. Wow, so that's 10 seconds. That's nice. Let's see if we can set up a little camera ride through the whole thing that looks palatable, and I'll do that back in Eevee just because it gives us a very accurate representation of what cycles look like. Actually, in look def mode, let me do that. I'll do that in look def mode. Nicely done. I'm happy. I'm very happy about this already. Wait until we put cars in on all kinds of background action. That might be nice. Oh yeah, actually one thing before we do that, while we're seeing a little bit of the background here, maybe I want to compare that versus if there is no background visible. This might make for a nice stream thumbnail as well. And this also gives me a chance to look at the render slots. So if I go and let's do this in cycles, let's go and render this in slot 1. I believe that's how it works. Oh, really? Christina, that is super exciting. So they fixed it in this version of Blender 2.82 already? Because I don't think I've tried that with the 2 cards. Oh, that's exciting news. So I believe now I go and just switch it over to slot 2. Is that how I do it? And then I go and render again. Is that how it works? Let me just go and try that. Yes, now this is rendering into slot 2. That's nice. Oh, it'll be, oh, I see, 283. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. And 2.83, I can already download a beta version of that, right? And then I get to compare slot 1 versus slot 2. Ha 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 ha, I'm beginning to understand this. It's like the crazy professor look. I need the white hair now, like the Einstein hair. So I'm doing this because I want to have a look at these things and just go and make sure I put, this is the render thing, isn't it? Disable in renders. Yeah, okay. So I want to select this. So here's another dumb question. So I've selected something in my scene, but I have no idea what it's called, and this thing it doesn't really show it. Is there a way to filter what I'm currently selected? Sync selection, so it highlights up, but it doesn't really filter it out. So to find it, I still have to go and scroll through 40 billion entries here to find it. Is there a way to just disable this in the render, just basically by clicking this little icon here? The outliner, thank you, yes. Because that'd be terrible. Is there, okay then, is there a way to figure out what this thing's called so that I can at least type it in there manually, so filter that out? Is it this one, SMNF Skyline? That's it, isn't it? Let's try that, see if it's, since everything starts with SM, that's not very good, is it? Perhaps Skyline will do the trick? Skyline, there we go. Is this the one that's selected? Yes. Okay, good. So I'll go and make that, disable that, in fact, everywhere. And that. And that. Hello, Joe. How you doing? Good to see you. So they're now all disabled, and I'm going to go and render that again into slot 2, and then we can compare slot 1 and slot 2 and see if it actually makes a difference, since we do have a HDRI now in there. So this is without the concentric circles on the outside, and this one is with it. Yeah, great. So let's leave it disabled, so we don't need it. It's just barely visible as just little cartoony outlines here. But it might be better if it's not there. Good call, Dreamlab. No, sorry, Brian, actually. Whoa. So when you say breakfast, they're for tomorrow technically, right, Joe? Even though fresh corn muffins. I don't know if Rod can't resist. I mean, I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, so we'll just go disable those. Nicely done. I'll go back to slot 1, just so when I do kick off another render, well, you know, we're in slot 1. All right, so I think for this project, I don't know where to begin, to be really honest. Maybe here, because if we begin on the outskirts somewhere, then there's always going to be the left-hand side. So if I'm looking at this, then this will show the geometry, but this won't really show anything. So we need to start somewhere where we see something on both sides as well as ahead. I think that's important. Sam's Club, I'm not familiar with that, Joe. Is that something that's like Costco, right? Like a membership thing, but you buy things in bulk? That's Sam's Club, isn't it? If I remember correctly. Yeah, so I think I might want to start here, and then we can go and move our way through these things. Actually, maybe on the road here, that might work. Yeah, maybe this might work. Still, there's not enough geometry here. I think this is a good starting point here. and I'll go and have a look at my camera and see where it actually is. Oh, I'm going to put my overlays on. Yeah, there. That's them. Is my little move and rotate thing. Yeah, that's what I want. And put that somewhere here. I think also with this setup, I might want to have like a second viewport that lets me see what my camera sees. But it doesn't need to be that large. So I'm thinking that perhaps I'm going to add myself a viewport in here somewhere. So I don't usually do this. That's not what I want to do. Yes, that's how I do it, isn't it? And then I can turn this into a viewport here. There might even be something set up here, but I don't really know. I'm just going to put a little mini viewport here that I can get just a preview of the scene. I guess 3D viewport. Nice. And the viewport itself, let me just go make that bigger. I think I can also move that there. Look depth, that's nice. How do I change that to the camera? Do I just do that? Oh yeah, that's how I do it. Perfect. That's nice. GeoTrack. I don't know what you mean by whole I/O. Okay, let's go back to the camera and see that's our starting point. So this is our little preview of the whole camera there. And it's looking the wrong way. Let's go if we rotate that, make it look the right way. Oh, come on. It doesn't want to do that? Why doesn't it? Come on, just go further over here. You're nearly there. There we go. I'm glad that it looks like a game though. I do approach it as if it was a let's play thing, actually. Oh yes, actually, how long does our animation want to be? That's the other thing. Shall we go for a minute? And then in 60 frames a second, that times 60, that's 1200 frames. That might be a good start. Is that a minute? Am I doing the math correctly here? 60 frames per second times 60. That's 3,600, isn't it? Yeah, that's what it is. So 3,600. Let's aim at that to be the whole animation, 1 minute in 60 frames a second. That is correct, isn't it? That is what that is. Do you know, it could well be, yeah, it could well be, because the assets I'm using are from Humble Bundle, and you get all this and like several others for $25. Less even if you wanted to. It allows you to pay what you want. That's actually very exciting. Let me put a link into the description, into our chat, of where you get these assets from, and then you can use them either in game development bits and bobs, like Unreal and Unity. They come with a pre-made scene of Unreal as well as Unity, but they also give you the FBX files and the textures, so you can do with them whatever you like. And I thought maybe I'll try and bring them into Blender and see what we can do with that. So maybe actually I'll go and just go and switch to my camera this way, and I'll try to pick myself a nice starting position here, just with the camera tools. Whoops, my mouse mat stays in place. Yeah, so I like to start with a bit of an overhead shot here that lets us see kind of a little bit more of the city, like so. And then ideally I'd like to just go and fly through this nice and gentle. So let's go select my camera, and I want to keyframe the location and the rotation here. And since that's our first keyframe, I suppose we can literally go and, knowing how long the animation is going to be, I suppose in the first 5 seconds we want to maybe reach the end of that block here. So 5 times 60 frames, that's about frame 300. It really doesn't want to do that, this going forward this way, does it? Why not, I say? So it's the Y direction, so I'll just go and do that manually with the slider. Yeah, maybe in 5 seconds we might be by the guitar here. That might be nice. And then we'll be on the slightly further down here on the ground. So we'll go and then kind of do this. Once we reach that, I think then we can also just go and pan up a bit. And start kind of peeking this way and aim at the guitar. So I'll go and keyframe that. And then maybe, let's say 3 seconds later, or let's say 5 seconds later. Let's do it in 5 second increments. See if it just about gets there. This is just what my mind says we could do. I'll go and move towards that guitar there. Maybe we get that in a close-up somewhere here. I'll go and actually go and can play with those lights there. We'll see what that's going to look like. And we go up again at that point. See what that looks like. Could be catastrophic. By frame 900, we want to be going down here, maybe reach the next crossing and then go and turn left again. So this is now towards X. Oh, hang on a minute. Did I? Yeah, great. We can put one keyframe in the middle there to make the pan better. Okay, no, we're good. I was just worried had I set the keyframe for the rotation of the camera, but it looks like I have, so that's okay. So that should get us somewhere here. Let's key that in here. And perhaps, oh yeah, maybe at frame 1200 maybe. maybe a bit slow, but maybe at frame 1200. I'd like to see that top view there again. Oh, we can't go through here. We have to go into here. Right. Yeah, I'd like to go through there around the corner. So we'll see how that pans out. I've forgotten where we're coming from, so I'll just hack in a keyframe here, and then we'll see what the camera rotation needs to be at that end. Oh yeah, perfect. That's actually quite nice. So then at frame 1500, we can then go and move over this way maybe. $1800, so we're about 30 seconds into the animation now. I'd like to be at this intersection here, or actually at that last one. Yeah, say I'd like to be at that last one already. And then at 2100, in that time we want to reveal that street corner on there, on that side. Oh no, what did I do? Then at 2500, we're revealing a lot of that. So maybe we can go through this corner now. So we go past the park. That's into the X direction. And maybe then just go reveal. So we're not looking at that. We're making sure we're rotating the camera towards this end. So see how we can do that cleverly. And then 2800, we're nearly there with the first pass. We want to ideally be somewhere further over there. And maybe that's actually enough, that we just go and go stop by the hot pizza sign. Yeah, maybe we'll leave it like that and we'll see where we are. Yes, good point. Otherwise I might move this thing around and then Yes, actually, let's do that now. Thank you, Marcos, for the tip. So let's see what we have. This is a really rough pass, and it's always a bit of a surprise what comes out and where keyframes need to go. But let's have a look. So we start here. Can we just in real time? Play controls are there. There we go. Yeah. So one thing, we're only doing this in 14 frames. So that's that. So the speed of the animation is nothing to go by, just to see where the how the whole thing flows. It's amazing, isn't it? I like that too, Dreamlab. It's just very nicely done. And I love that there's just very little overhead for literally everything, for the rendering, for the real-time preview. So while a stonemason scene would look much more exciting if you look at each intricate detail, I think for an animation, this is kind of nice. Yeah, like the popcorn size, we can lock the camera over there and kind of peek in there. So rather than go straight through, we can go peek there, peek there. I wonder if there's a way. I know Carrara has this option that you can say skip frames. So rather than playing every frame, it would just go play as many as it can fit into a real-time preview, but it would give us a better indication of how what the timing of the animation is, and if the speed's correct. I wonder if Blender has that. Astronaut Assassin, thank you so much for following. I appreciate that. Did we get a follower alert there? I don't know. I didn't hear anything. Usually you get a nice little animation happening there. I didn't see that. Appreciate the follow all the same, though. Yeah, this looks a bit boring. I think we need to reveal other things there. We can maybe focus in on the coffee cup, and so that we need to work on that. No alert, right? No. Huh. You saw it. Okay, I didn't hear anything. I need to look into that. There's some super interesting details on top of the houses, so I might move this keyframe. I might move the camera further over here so that we can reveal some of those satellite dishes and all that. Yes, and I'm not happy with that, with the camera turning at that point. So I think I'm gonna get rid of that. That next keyframe, the camera twists. So I'm gonna, if I'm up there, I might just go and stay on the outside. That might be better. They even have a subway there. That's nice. I do like that though, panning backwards over some of these bits and bobs here. And I also like ending on the pizza sign, but I think we can probably, it might actually be more beneficial if I move the camera to the other side of that scene and we approach the pizza sign from the back. Yeah, I wonder, is it, what does this do here? Use preview range, that's not it. View, show markers, only keyframe selection, cache, view all area, show seconds. Show seconds would probably come in handy, unless that's, no, let's not show seconds. That's cool, let's not show seconds. Playback. Subframes limit players or active person animation editors problem person series. I'm sure there's an option that they say we're skipping frames so that it at least shows you whatever playback range we can. Well, Christina, you know so many other things. Let's fix this. Let's go. Let's keep the first pass. Let me go and save this thing actually. And this is the keyframe at which things essentially go wrong. So up until here, I'm kind of happy. And these two we're going to delete. So add 2400, is it 2400? It is, isn't it? Yeah, 2400, just to keep the same kind of pace going. I'll lock my camera onto the view again. I want to be on the other side of that building here. So I'll go and try and move myself over here. That's nice. That's nice. We can try and reveal that billboard here. Maybe not quite. I just like the idea of seeing some of these interesting things on top of the buildings there. See what that looks like. Go and key that in. Maybe then on the next keyframe, which is then 2900, maybe. We can then go and reveal the sign and the houses here. And then at maybe 3200. Actually, yeah, this could be 24, 5, 6, 7. It's more like 2700, isn't it? So let's move that to about here, and then add about 3000. There we go. That's much better. It doesn't have to be super accurate, but then we retain that kind of smooth flowing speed there. So for that, I think I can now be somewhere here. I might change this whole pole around that we get to see the pizza sign, because I don't like the car advert. I like the pizza advert. So we'll see if this is kind of a helper frame to get us on the way there, and then we'll end something like that. Could even be, I mean, that's what I usually do for the holding loop. This could be like a 3D Shenanigans advert then. But we'll end on that for the last keyframe. Let's see how it works. We're kind of happy to about here. And then we're here. Now we're going further over here. And then we see the rest of that. Okay, I see. And then we do that. That's not great. We'll have to work on that. But the rest of it seems to be nice, so I like that. I like the principle. Yeah, this, I think we'll make that a bit slower and move these keyframes all further away and just have a little peak to the left and the right. That's around frame 900. That we can probably make smoother too, with just an additional keyframe of where the camera points. I'll go slightly further to the ground at that point. We might as well do that now. I just want to be further, just reveal that more. Let me go over and reveal that. You see, I'm not sure. I like revealing this, but I'm not sure about the move from here to there. I'm just not. I'm not convinced it's great. Right. Thank you so much. From sync to drop frames. Where was that again? No sync. Frame dropping. Ah. That's this frame dropping. No, Astronaut Assassin, I'm not. I sometimes do model bits and pieces, but I'm not very good at modeling, sadly. I know basics, but I'm not great at it. I think I just don't have the patience for it. But it was a good idea, Brian. So I'm sure there's an option. Maybe it'll come into play as soon as we restart Blender, that might be possible. Because I've seen Blender can do 60 frames. Could it be that if we're trying to do it in a different mode? Is that no? That's still only 15 frames. Even in that mode. I wonder if there's another playback option here. Frame rate, is that something I can just set to something much lower here or higher? There we go. That certainly drops frames, doesn't it? And now it's actually playing it back at the rate that I had kind of envisioned. It's dropping frames, but it's now the animation speed is accurate. This is the speed at which we would see it, and it's dropping frames. So maybe, maybe the combination of those two approaches is exactly what we need. Ideally, I'd like to do this in Unreal one day. I don't know how keyframe animations work in Unreal, but I'm sure there's got to be a way. I'm sure we'll make it work. We'll work it out. Yeah, maybe as much as I like the donut poster, I think I don't care for that move over there or the ending on that. So I think we're gonna go and play around with the ending a little bit. I think maybe now that we've worked out how to get going here with the correct speed, that's actually quite nice. So yeah, I think on this keyframe here, let's go and peek more into, let's peek more towards here already. Oops. And that we can make slower. So this all these keyframes will go and move from, we'll make that at least 2 seconds slower. So we'll go and put them kind of 100 seconds further from here to there. Maybe even slower than that. That's nice. That gives us a good option to peek at the popcorn sign at about here. So let's go and put, yeah, 900 is probably a good idea. We're not going to change the actual position, like in this case, I guess the X axis of the camera. We're just going to go and rotate it at this point. We might shift it along the Y a bit. So go to, whoops, that's, yeah, it's the rotation, isn't it? So let's go and move that here, and then rotate the Z. Is that it? Yes, Z. So we just look that way, pop a keyframe into that. You can get away a little bit away from that sign there. That's nice. And now we're peeking back. That's cool. While we're here already and going over to that, I think maybe this is where things start going awry already at that keyframe. So I think maybe this whole thing can be improved. That could slow down as well. And we can probably just go and from here just stay on this side and just go and rush towards the park maybe, and then end on the pizza sign. Even though I do like the donut sign, yeah, this whole bit we're gonna have to get rid of. Let's see if we can make it happen. So I think yeah, this is already where it gets a little bit tricky. So I think I'm going to leave this keyframe in place. Maybe even this one, actually, and that one. I'll leave those in place, and then we'll keep this and we'll get rid of the rest, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Get rid of the rest. So let's round this up to 2300. Let's go, then 2600 is going to be our next keyframe, and we'll go and be at the park then instead. Focus on the park instead. Oops. Is anyone streaming after me, by the way? I was just wondering, anyone at 7? On at 7? I'm happy to be finished by 7. Or is there a premiere going on? That's nice. And even if that's a bit fast, we can work around it. We can make it happen. 2600, so let's go with 2900 as the next keyframe, and at that point we'd like to be I don't actually know where we'd like to be. Eventually we want to end up on that pizza spot here. Perhaps then we go via the traffic lights and kind of look at that already. That might be an idea. So we go half there, maybe. And then add 2300. Yes, it's almost like I think it'll make more sense when you see the people. The people are a bit like the kind of Minecraft style. So I don't know how good this is going to look without any city in the background. It really depends on the HDRI there. But let's see if we can end up on that sign somehow on the last frame of the animation. Yeah, the people and the cars, they're part of it. He also has a Western set. That looks also very exciting. I bought that as well. So it's like tons of stuff that we can experiment with and see what what we can do with it, including how to bring it into game engines later. So let's see how our animation continues. First time we're watching this. Okay, we're peeking too far to the left there. We need to wait for that, wait a little bit for that. I like the park. I like the traffic lights. We can animate the lights maybe. I like that as well. And this could happen just a little bit faster. But that's an easy fix. Oh yes, while we're here, we're gonna tweak that in a moment, that we're not quite too close to the sign. I like the popcorn sign. I like that little gentle movement there. I think this can be sped up. This whole journey, it looks like we're slowing down there a little bit, so we're speeding that up a bit. That going up is nice. I think I might go even wider there and reveal more of the whole scene. And I'm thinking with background action that we can add there. So there'll be cars on the street, and every once in a while there could be a person on the balcony. That might be nice. I'm even thinking that rather than panning from the park away from the city, perhaps I'll just move the sign over so that we can look at that better, so that once we come from the park here, once we come from here, we just continue looking to the left. So we forget that and we just move the sign somewhere over to, I don't know, somewhere here. That might be nice. just like for, yeah, as background action. I like that, yeah. I don't know if animations come with this scene or if we need to grab some from Mixamo. I'm sure there's some we can grab from there. So I'm on the whole, I'm happy until about here, but it's once again, it's the last 3 keyframes that we need to go and get rid of and do other things with. So let's go and get rid of those. And we're here at the park. That's nice. Actually, we probably was the last one, the last keyframe actually okay in its position. It was, wasn't it? Yeah. So only the last 2 keyframes that we need to go and get rid of. Just the last one that we just need to not look at that sign, but instead look somewhere over here. I think we can still pull this off here, the overhead shot. And I'll go and quickly turn off the lock camera to view here and just go and grab this sign here. Is it hoping that this is all one object? Billboard sign and billboard pole. Oh yeah, so the pole, that's perfect. So just put that like even onto this street corner. It's not good for pedestrians. Could even be in the park. How's that? Let's put it in the park. That's good. And then we go and rotate this around the Z-axis so that we can see hot pizza. Rod likes pizza. Absolutely. I think that'd be good. Homeless people. great actually, because then this works much better, because whatever the important message is on the poster, we'll establish it here. So it'll be kind of in the background while we do this. That's actually great, and then we can just stay on there and make sure we don't leave the sign out of our sights. So then at about 3200, man, I just framed it up, didn't I? And I didn't keyframe it. I like getting close to this, that might be nice. And keyframe, very important. And now at 3200, that's the Y. And then at 3600, I guess would be full on this thing. Nice. Somebody could be on top of this, I don't know, putting the poster on or whatnot. I and I. All right. See what this looks like. We get away from that. We twist the camera to that. I might like to stay longer on the popcorn. I'm going to speed this up a bit. This would be a nice place for cars to go, and I don't know, maybe even drive down the hole. There's so much we can do. This is a nice place for cars, also for people walking. My God, what can we do with all this? This is exciting. Could be a little bird sitting on that railing there, flying away. And then we're revealing whatever needs to be on that poster. Okay, so this is probably framed well, but this is not over there enough, so that we just need to shift the position of that slightly further to the center. That's X there. Otherwise we get it'll look wonky, which is uncool. Whoops. Yeah, perfect to reveal little birdies here. Yes, now it's a more linear reveal of whatever's there. That we might even do that faster. Yeah, I think the last two keyframes, maybe they just go and come in a little bit. Oh, see, maybe that was too fast now. Well, let's go and make sure we go and put that back. Yeah, timing, I'm not too worried about it. That's something, those are nuances we can tweak later. Important message to be revealed. Actually, I think it is good to leave it as long as it is there. I think the last keyframe, that could come in a bit quicker. Just so this pan is fine, and then we slow down a little bit and the Bezier thing comes in. Yeah, perfect. All right. It's in Bezier mode, actually. It's not linear anymore by default. You can tell by the way the camera slows down at the end. This isn't a linear motion, it's slowing down to a halt there. So yeah, it's Bezier by default these days. Let's fix the quick nuance at the very beginning here and save it as well. I guess I'll just go save that over the current scene. I don't mind the slight angle here. We could slow this down a little bit at the front. This is where I wanted to get away from. It's just that we're too close, I find a little bit too close to that sign. So we can do something similar that we did a moment ago. So in this case, it'll be like between X and Z. So we just shift the camera over to just away from that sign a little bit, because otherwise in the middle we'll just scrape it a bit too far. We could add an additional keyframe, I guess. Or we just use the next keyframe here and move that slightly further over to Y. Let's try that. This, I don't actually mind that we see that we almost bump on this, because there's always something that could happen here, you know, like a little bird or whatever could sit on there. It's helped. Oh, we're nearly bumping into that thing, don't we? We don't want to do that. Yes, we don't necessarily want to have that happen. Yeah, I think, okay, let me go and undo that. Yeah, I don't want to set a keyframe here, because it'll just go mess with the path. So I'm going to have to use this one and just make sure, is it the Y? Yes, that's the Y, isn't it? Yeah, so we just do that instead. That should fix that. It always has an effect on the previous and the next keyframe, so that I'm happy with that. Happier with that. This, I'm thinking, there's something else that we need here. So for one, I think I'm going to go and make this slightly slower and this slightly faster, these keyframes. But the actual keyframe itself isn't showing me anything interesting. So I think with keyframes, it's always important that you end up from one interesting framing to another, and then you live with the interpolation. But this as a keyframe is just not very interesting. So if this is okay for us, and then this is okay for us, we just need to find something that's also okay in the middle. And while this serves as an establishment of the next road we're going down, I think this doesn't have a big purpose other than to get us there, but it doesn't look good. So I'm thinking, let's see if we can go and just frame that up just better. And it's just total guesswork if it's going to work or not. But this is just much more exciting already. I'm now interested to see what's at the top of those houses, and now we can launch into our journey of going down that road. I find this a bit fast, and the easiest way to fix that is to just move everything further back, all the keyframes that are behind there, and then we launch our journey here, and it's still that nice slow-paced move. Wow, Chris, you could read that? Very cool. Yeah, you're right. It's 189,513 faces, and vertices 110,774. That's extremely low poly considering that one Victoria character, like whatever, Genesis, whatever, is between 60 and 80,000 already. The whole memory consumption, by the way, is 443 megabytes. That's the whole scene, under half a gigabyte. That's quite crazy. That's very good, and very good for spotting that, Chris. I must say that is, you know, very nice, very nice. Chris, I was going to ask you this. This is kind of a Twitch question. So I've got my two emotes here. The rat, so WP Guru rat. That emote, very nice, super exciting. Yeah, 32-inch monitor, huh? But I've also got the WP Guru duck now. And the duck is my level tier or tier 2, whatever subscriber thing. And I don't know if and how other people can unlock that unless they pay me $10 a month, which I thought, you know, that although that's nice, I wouldn't say no. Is there a way that you can unlock that with channel points, like with these happy points? If so, try it out. See if it, let me know how it works. We tried it with Julia the other day, but I don't know if the emote was approved quite yet. Let's watch this one more time. I don't mind the slightly wonky angle because it gets us into this whole scene. I also don't mind smashing almost into the traffic lights here, even though perhaps we'll take it a little bit easier there. On that keyframe, maybe we'll keep this house slightly further in the middle, and we may make this a bit faster here. Four years, I like that. That's yeah, that's the average time for a stonemason scene to render as an animation too. Yeah, so from here to there. We go from here to there. I think on this keyframe, I like to go and put this oops, that's not what I wanted. I'm so sorry. It's totally not what I wanted. So while we're here, I think I'd like to position the camera slightly further over here already. Again, total guesswork. This may not actually work out or look good. Yeah, actually it does. It does. And then this is too long now. This whole bit is too long, and we're also moving away again, so that's not intentional. So we'll tweak that. We can be away already. I've gone closer here on this house, so I'll go and move this slightly over here. That one comes further over to us here. And then instead of being so far away already, we'll just go and, whoops, we'll go and that's the Y direction. We'll go and be forward a little bit further already. That's really all we need here. And then that camera move doesn't look quite as dramatic. And then we'll start our journey. Yes, and now this is too slow, but that's an easy fix. So there's this big gap here in the middle. So we'll go and take all these keyframes and move them slightly further over here. Then we start our journey. Come on, come on, come on. Well, I think I'm more or less happy now with the whole move. I'm also happy with the render time it takes for this thing to do its thing. So just to put it in here, just in the middle here, let's go and render one frame. Just see what it looks like, how long it takes and all that. Yeah, okay, so the HDRI, we may have to look into that, because that and the background, that doesn't quite work. So I need something like a HDRI that almost blends into the whole thing here, I guess. Memory like a Steve, I like that. That's very nice. Yeah, you know, that would be, if it would be more juxtaposed, I guess, that would be kind of cool. If we could make that happen, like put a skyscraper type city in there, that would be kind of cool. Maybe we'll try that, something with really large skyscrapers. See what HDR Haven has to offer, shall we? If you have any suggestions for a cool HDR that might be good there, let me know. Like really tall houses, that'd be cool. Something like New York. That's an idea. I could try that so that we can. I could just make a. I could just not render the actual background. That is possible. Or we just use something like this that doesn't have buildings. Driving school, that might be cool, that we just have the sky. I'm thinking maybe that'd be cool. Let's use the 4K version. Driving school, all right. Here looks, it turns out actually that I didn't need the little viewport here. I could just do it all in the main viewport, so that's cool. Is that how we, no, I always forget how we collapse that. No, that's also not how we do that. How do we collapse viewports on top of one another? It's the most unintuitive feature ever in Blender, literally ever. They make it so that you cannot work it out. Oh, I almost had it there, I almost had it. How do I do it? No, that's not it. It makes more. No, that's not it either. No, that's not it. It's that totally unlabeled section somewhere that either you draw it into the wrong direction, and there we go, that's what it does. Whew. No. Oh no. Great. And I'd like to, no, man. I could just make it really small and then we don't see it anymore. This is like the worst. I remember posting a screenshot of Blender and complimenting it sarcastically on the interface, because I had done that about 50 million times, and it's all you see is menu bars and nothing usable there. It's almost like, you see, so you drop it, you click the left corner, at which point nothing happens. That's very important to remember. There's literally one pixel up or down, you lost it. Then if you draw it down, I think you make another viewport or another kind of container thing. So you have to draw it up. Yes, that's what you got to do. So you draw it up like that, and that does that. Awesome. Let's try that. Draw it up. Woo! My God, that's awesome. But now, of course, if you draw this up, then the viewport gets collapsed onto here. So I think what you have to do is you have to use that, and you have to use this, draw it up, and then quickly draw it down like that. No. Right button in the middle of the line. Let me decipher that. Right button. middle of it, like this. Join areas. Okay, let's do that. Join. Ah, Marcos. Thank you. That's much easier. Join, swap, vertical, horizontal. Ah, Marcos. Thank you so much. That is seriously, that's a very good tip. Right click. No one had expected the right click to be useful in Blender anymore. So sad. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's those little things that drive me seriously insane. I'm still not that happy with this. So I think I like the way this house looks. I'm just gonna move the camera back a little bit at this point. I think I'm happy with the position that is almost in the middle here. I'm happy with that. But I think I want to be just further away just a little bit, which is in our case that's Y, isn't it? So yeah, just like that. I think I might try that. And then we do this. Even to the point at this position here, I think I want to be slightly forward again already, so that it's almost like the journey has already started here on that keyframe. It just gets us going a little bit quicker there. There we go. Okay, put that HDRI in, and then we're kind of ready to get this thing rendered. So, oh, look at that, very nice. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing this animated in cycles already. I'm excited about that. The Skies on Fire will be replaced with Driving School 4K. Oh, very different light character now, isn't it? Whoops. Yes, it's more daylight now. Look at that. I like that different what's it called, architecture in the background. Some trees, but also very different architecture. I like to see some trees. That's nice, even though they look completely different in style. I don't mind the odd house. I did like the slightly warmer character that the other HDRI had. Yeah, this is maybe something we should render here and see what that looks like. Yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Maybe it's almost better than to just have something that doesn't have a background at all. I wonder. That's literally just got sky. Morning, afternoon, sunset, sunrise, something like that, where literally, yeah, this might be nice. Something even more moody that has literally like this. That's nice. Or that. I can see that working. Kiara 1 Dawn. That's got something warm and nothing that interferes stylistically with what's going down there. This looks interesting. The aft lounge. Yeah, let's stick with that. Let's stick with the one that I found here, the one that was... Also nice, also nice. This one here, let's do that. Let's use that. Sorry, I wasn't actually paying attention. Did you say somebody's streaming after me today? Now that I've already overrun by 10 minutes. Ooh, Chris. Oh my God, really? You subscribed at tier 2? Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you so much. That is it's kind of blowing me away. That is something to celebrate, isn't it? Wow, Chris, thank you so much for your generosity. I appreciate that. So you can now use the duck. Kiara Dawn, come on. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I thought you were already subscribed. Oh. Well, either way, thank you for your generosity. I appreciate it. Oh, it's the second. Seriously? That is amazing. I had no idea I've been an affiliate for so long already. To me, it feels like this has happened last week. Oh, wow. So that means you've been subscribed last month and this month. Wow. That is very cool, Chris. Unbelievable. That's how quickly time melts away. That is just so cool. Whew. Yes, now that I'm reading it again, it does actually say 2 months, not tier 2. Come on, let's see what the... Oh, look at that. Now we can see mountains in the background. I didn't see that before. I didn't see that in the HDRI. Yeah, that I like. That is very cool. It's like the whole town shouldn't even be there. It's like this experimental thing that we've only just discovered. I do miss the contrast of the last scene, though, I must say. This is now this is just a very soft kind of character. I do like the background. Briss Vegas, now that's what we need. I wonder also if it's just because I've gotten used to the character of the scene with the first HDRI that we had. Do you know, I might just leave that in and then not render the background. That might be another idea. Because I can see this is going to drive me mental. Just finding another HDRI that gives me exactly that character, which wasn't driving school. It's The Sky's on Fire. That was it, wasn't it? Yeah, I might do that. And then I'll just replace it with, I don't know, generic mush or whatnot in the background. It's a tricky one. I don't really know what to do. I like the way the buildings look. I'm just not crazy about the content we see in the background. I'll tell you what I could do. I could add depth of field into this. That might work. Yeah, that is exactly, Dreamlab. Great minds think alike. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go back to our... So where was it again? Here. This was the one, like the one that predominantly didn't look crazy here. Didn't look good even. If we go into the camera lens, indeed, there. So sensor fit auto, size, depth of field. And distance, let's make that something, I don't know, like 5 meters. Tricky one. Also, do we get that previewed here? No, we have to render the scene for that, I think. This is not keyframe, so I can do it anywhere, I hope. Yes, of course, now my buildings and whatnot also start to blur a little bit. Indeed, yes, I totally agree with that. Like 1.2 that I'm using now, it's focus objects. If I go and use something like this, it doesn't really want to. No, I see it. They don't want. Yeah, that might work well for a still image. Do I also need to, I think I also need to enable something in the render settings, is that right? It might not render it at all by default unless I enable it. Where are my options gone? I could have sworn last time I looked at this, there were like at least 5 more icons that I could click. Where is all that? I could do that, Chris. That might be an idea. Yeah, I think I might just go and what's this? This is all what I don't understand where the rest of my things are gone. Like render settings, they were kind of important last time I checked. That's weird. Yeah, like my camera's gone away here as well. Is this filtering something here? Because all I see here now is object. I don't really see. There's my camera, but it's something's gone wrong here. I must have clicked something that's now. That's totally bizarre. Yeah, I tried the f-stop. It did not look great. I think I'm just not going to render the whole HDRI. But what I'm really struggling with is the fact that in my collection, I don't see the objects that were there a minute ago. I can see this, but that's not really what that looked like a moment ago. It's like some objects are missing and some of these icons are also missing. That is totally uncool. All right, see you soon, Dreamlab. I think I'm gonna finish this off as well. I'm gonna go and just go and save this as my third scene here. I hope the previous scene is still okay, because I can't even switch between EV and cycles anymore. That whole setting is completely gone. Unbelievable. Because this thing's saying object, which is also doesn't make any sense. Let's see what happens, because the application state is saved together with the file. So if I'll just save everything on here, and I'll go and view the second file. I'll see if we can work it out. There, that's all back now, all with the wonky keyframes and all. And back then my object was actually still called camera, and in my current thing it's just called object. So maybe it has something to do with that. Okay, let's go back to number 3. Yeah, so this thing is called object. I wonder if this is actually something that's the filter that does. No, it's not. How bizarre. So mine said camera. Maybe I'll just type it in manually. Okay, so that brought that back. But still, no icons. That is only something, only Christina can help with that. It's kind of, you know, it's a good time to stop as well. I have no idea how to work that out. I suppose if something drastically has gone wrong, I can always go and create a new Blender scene and literally import all these objects and all these icons into all the objects and all the animations into a brand new Blender scene. If this doesn't come back to life, I have no idea how to do it. Anyway, another brain teaser, another puzzle to solve. Thank you so much for hanging here. I will let you know if I can fix it, if I can work it out. Regardless, I'm going to try and render an animation out of this. Well, I can't actually with the missing icons. I'll try my best. That's a good point, exactly. Good thing is we have it on video. I can rewatch my steps and see when it went awry and then just make sure that my future self traveling back into the time avoids the mistake that I've just made. I'm working tomorrow and the next day, but I will be back on Thursday. Join me for the next installment of this exciting feature, and perhaps we can put a new exciting animation together. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.